Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is JM and welcome to my top 5 Skyrim PS4 mods video. I was not planning to do any of these, but I decided to do one anyway because there are actually a lot of good mods for Skyrim in the PS4 version, other than, for example, like Fallout. In Fallout 4 there are not good mods for it on the PS4 version, but that's not the thing in Skyrim. There are good mods other than just graphical mods, and I decided to show you my top 5 favorite mods. So let's just get on to the first one. Alright, this book where you can learn the conjure spell for the dragon. It is pretty hidden, but you will see later in a minute where's the location for this. It simply adds you a spell, conjure legendary dragon. Doesn't need any magicka for it, as you can saw, novice 56. So it's a great spell to use no matter what level you are. And the reason why I included this dragon specifically for this mod video is because this was the only one I got to work so that you can actually bend it to your will and actually ride the dragon, so you can summon it and ride it. Because I love, even though it's pretty limited, the dragon riding, I still love the fact that you can do it in this game. But it's sometimes a bit difficult to use in any fun situations because there's never a dragon for you to find when you actually need one. For example, imagine now that you have a dragon you can conjure for yourself, and you do a part of the Civil War questline where you need to capture some of the forts or Whiterun and such. Imagine now that you can fight with a dragon in those battles. And that's the reason I included this mod to this list. A big thank you for the mod author. His name was visible earlier when I showed you the mod and its name. Alright, so this clip, now it's, this is muted, the background, because I actually recorded this part during my live stream. So I didn't want to mess up two audios at the same time. But what this mod basically does, it increases your chance for the kill move or the finishing move to happen. And it removes the last enemy restriction, so you can perform more than one kill move per battle. Basically, you can have, if you fight against 5 bandits, you can kill all 5 with a finishing move. It's not 100% guaranteed, but let's say that it happens about 9 out of 10 times, but excluding some situations where you're fighting enemies on like stairs, for example, it happens a bit rarely in there. And also, one thing that this mod still does is put a higher chance for the decapitation to happen. Take note that this mod has multiple variants on the mod section. There are mods like which takes away the decapitation perk completely, so you can actually do that even without having 50 blade skill. But this is one of my favorite mods and I couldn't live without. Once again, big thank you for the mod author. You saw the name of the mod and everything before this clip started playing. So, this mod is called Deadly Bosses of Skyrim, as you read. This adds a bunch of very powerful bosses in this game. I have not actually defeated all of them, and the one fight you see currently playing, I haven't actually beaten these guys yet. They have a massive amount of HP, and they deal a lot of damage to you. And for me especially, as a Dark Souls fan, it's fun to have this mod because they are clearly, at least some of them, Dark Souls inspired. There's another boss called the Grave Tender, and the Grave Tender's Grateful Wolf Scene. It's very similar to Sith boss fight. It's a giant wolf, but it has a Grave Tender with him, who's also similar to the boss you find in Dark Souls 3. There's also a Great Wolf and a Grave Tender, except that this one is named Scene, which of course references to Great Wolf Sith from Dark Souls 1. There's quite a big list of bosses this mod brings you. Some are a bit in bad positions, like these ones are at Bleak's Falls Barrow, so I highly suggest don't install this mod before you have at least cleared Bleak Falls Barrow, because you're gonna have a hard time to actually get to that place when these guys are already alive here. Also, it has 2 dragons, which are both pretty close by to each other, very near Rorikstead. You can basically travel on the road safely, but if you stray off from the road, there's a high chance you might get attacked by those 2 dragons, and they're not pushovers either. But like I said, I have defeated some of them. There's also the last Dwemer, which is basically just an NPC in a full Dwemer suit and 2 unique enchanted Dwemer swords found in Blackreach, and also a Dwemer God, I think was the name. They're not all lore friendly. The Dwemer God, for example, is just a giant Dwemer. What was the name? The big giant robot version. You know what I mean. I just forgot about the name. But a good mod. I highly suggest it. Alright, now for the next one. Realm of Floracan. This is one of the only alternative start mods for PS4. There are a few others, but this is the best one out of them. Also, I don't know what has the mod author. Is this Sherazine and Shezarin? Is it a reference to something, or why is that the name of the character when you begin? But, as I was saying, this is the best alternative start mod. First thing I noticed when I tried this mod out is you can actually decide, do you want to have the flame and healing spell when you start the game. You only have your race specific power when you start. Then take immediate right from your spawn and you get to the area where you can actually pick a class for your character as also a buff or a negative buff. I'm not sure what these all. There are a few of these that are both are basically buffs and not negative buffs, like this half fall damage and 20% left attack speed. But there are negative ones which you can as well pick up for added challenge or roleplay. And you also have the classes which I mentioned, like this Acrobat, 5% faster movement, reflect 20% melee damage, stamina regeneration. Then we have a classic one, Barbarian, two-handed sword, you can pick it up from the side. And you have the Buddha to Pugilist, unarmed damage plus 20, that's actually a good one early game. And Curse of the Unlucky, enemies gain 10% chance to critically hit you. Next up, Archer, additional slow time when aiming, attack 10% faster, both do 10% more damage, and you can pick the Nord Hero bow from next to it. Although none of these are needed to pick up, you can basically not take anything from this place and just continue, start the game from wherever you want. And next up we had the Bard class, 10% chance critical hit, higher power for speech kills. Speech skills. Speech kills. Bardic knowledge, what does this book even do? This is a skill book, or what this is. Summon a Spectrum drum that plays 300 seconds, removing stamina regen for you and nearby allies. I don't know if that's a book is part of the mod or part of the Bard skill. I've actually never done that before. I need to do that, I think. We get the Mage class, very simple, self-explaining. Curse automatically adversity spells cost 20% more, but also level 20% faster. Hood on the table. We have the Knight class, magic resistance, heal faster out of combat. This is one of my favorite curses. Items sell for half as much as usual. It actually makes the game pretty interesting that you get a lot less money from the stuff you sell. I usually pick that. And was there anything else, or are we finished? Healer class. Restoration spells and potions are more powerful. Poisons last for +10 and attacks when applied. Voice of the Sky, animals do not attack nor flee from you. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. And there was still the Pilgrim class. Harvest more ingredients from plants, gain more skill from reading books. Curse of Anti-Magica. Actually, this is a fine one as well. I usually don't like the astronaut birth sign, but this is actually cool. I need to do a character with this. And here we had Curse of Slow Learner. Skill gains 1/3 less experience through use. I think that was the last one, yes. Okay, let's travel around a bit more. These crystals here are actually what you can use to decide where you want to start the game. This takes me to Markarth, Run of Talos. There's the Solitude one, there's a Riverwood one. These chests, they seem to contain randomized items. They're not the same every time. Here you can take an early blessing if you want. And what's next? Oh yeah. I think there was something special in some of these places. Don't worry, if you fall here, you actually just respawn immediately. All the birth sign stones can be found from this place, so you can pick your birth sign. That is one thing I didn't like about Skyrim. That you didn't get to choose a class and a birth sign like you did in Oblivion. That's what I liked about it. You can get the mage's robes here. I remember that there are few specific storages here where you can find some certain items. They're not all randomized. I have no idea what are these NPCs supposed to be here, or are they just basically nothing and maybe a bit improved in PC version or something? I don't know. Some of these chests are in pretty bad places, like this one I usually drop, especially when I try to get back from here. And this contained a different item, yes. I did want to check it out. That had different items when I checked that place on my previous time. There are some indoor places over there. There's not pretty much nothing inside there. There's a few display cases which are actually locked, but you can find a few lockpicks from here. I think there was some orcish daggers and stuff like that there, which you can try to pick for yourself. But that's about it. I can say that this is one of the best mods for PS4 version, because it gives you a complete alternative start. Pick a class, decide not to pick these annoying spells, which I don't really like to use myself ever in the beginning. But yeah, let's go to the next mod. Alright, this mod is more of a honorable mention, which I did wanna put it in this list because I really love this mod, but I found out about this mod yesterday, so had to be fast. These are animation rings, and I really love this mod because I am a role player kind of person, and I really love to have animations on my character, and this fantastic mod author was able to make this mod happen on PS4 by making them work as a ring. Alright, let's see, what should we try first? eat, drink, something like that, which is also awesome if you want to, for example, do a YouTube video, but you can only use PS4 version, or otherwise if you really like role-playing, awesome stuff for you. Let's try these rings out. Alright, so I forgot to read one part of the mod instruction. All you need to do is equip a ring. Let's take eat for example, and press the sneak button. And your character starts to play the animation. This is, in my opinion, some awesome stuff. I did not read actually how long will the animation play and how can I stop it. Do I need to equip another ring or something? Oh, okay, just equipping a weapon to get away. Let's try something else. Cross arms, press sneak. It worked, but I just moved, so... What else? Play flute. Doesn't play the music though, I know that one. But yeah, fantastic mod for role players and even others, maybe video makers, etc. But that was the honorable mention, and this was actually a little bit too long for such. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright, the last one, Elegance Cheat Armory. This is the best, basically, cheat mod I found for the PS4 mods. And the reason why I love this the most is because this mod actually has quite unique stuff in it. And few of these mods I showed you, I have actually just put the commentary there afterwards. But this is a mod which I have to comment basically real time here, because there's actually just so much stuff in here. So I apologize for probably messing up my words 100 times during this. Okay, I want to check out the most interesting places which I found from here. Dragon Hall. Let's start out with this one. So, this place, Dragon Hall, yeah, these are janky, don't worry about it though. You can get summoning books from here. You can summon Sahratar, you can summon the skeletal dragon, or you can summon one of these 3 dragons for your assist there. I'll just pick up the Sahratar book, and I'll show it to you afterwards when I get out of here, if my character can even use it. I'm not sure how much you need magicka for that. But if my memory serves, the only problem with this mod, unlike with the another dragon summoning mods which I already showed you, I wasn't able to get myself to bend those dragons to my will and actually be able to ride them. That's why that dragon conjuring mod is here on this list. Because that was the only one which I was able to get myself to ride with. Heroes Inn, I think was the name. This place has all sorts of followers for you. One's like Ulfric Stormcloak, some Tremora Lords, Zun, Savos Aaron. I think there's Ebony Warrior, yes. Smile on you, friend. I'm going to play the flute. I think this animation ring does something for this, and I'm not sure what. I haven't tested that out. Ebony Huntress, Astrid, don't know who that was. Need something? I think Mirak, yes, is here, and Vampire Lord. You can get all these as your follower. There are actually a few pretty unique ones as well, but I'm not actually sure in which room they were in. I didn't find them when I first tried out this mod. Let's see if I can find them now. Okay, I found myself into a place called Daedric Room. And I think this is room which just has all the Daedric artifacts like it says. And the giant glob. There are other mods which makes this item usable, but this is also one of them, but adding so much more to it as well. There's everything in display cases, but also in the chest over there. Let's move on to the next room. One thing I need to remind you, if you download this mod, remember to get the I'm okay with spoilers key from the entrance to this armory, because you can't access these rooms without the key for some reason. I think there's actually some sort of tutorial and a guidebook at the entrance. But hey, we don't read instructions, we just do and complain afterwards. Hall of Battles. I think this is the place where you can start, where you can get into rooms with many sorts of enemies in there. For example, there's the awful one, spiders everywhere. I'm actually scared to open this door, but I just still want to show it off. As you can see, a lot of spiders here. And we're gonna get out before they attack me. But you can find these rooms. There are bandit rooms, there are Daedric rooms, Wisp Valley, Oblivion Realm, Valley of Giants. In my understanding, they all look the same, but except the Oblivion one. And they contain the enemies mentioned above. Some nice stuff if you want to try out killing certain enemies, or maybe even do some video on YouTube and you can only use the PS4 version, like me, for example. There are random chests around this place which contain a lot of items. Shields and some unique items and such. There are a lot of them. But now I'm searching for the... Wait, custom armory. This is not the room I was searching for, but let's check it out as well. I might or might not cut out these loading screens. Don't know yet. I might be lazy. Yes, this is actually the room which I wanted to visit. This place contains a lot of items. Like it says, all standard weapons, all standard armor. But there are actually some pretty unique stuff in here as well. Before we go to that, let's check out some of the stuff which you can find here. These, if I remember right, are actually...
Huh?
No, these were not followers. But actually some of them are, not all. Yes, were not all followers. Some of them were. Okay, but let's get to the interesting stuff. So, like I said, there are actually some pretty unique weapons and items here, which you can't normally find in this game. And they have some interesting effects as well. Visual effects. Well, actually, let's check that out as well. I like this as well. This is awesome stuff if you wanna do some videos on the future. Let's take the coast effects. What these do is pretty self-explaining. Where is it? Damn, I had to pick up all those rings from the animation mod. There we go. You can get all sorts of effects on your character with these rings. And you saw me go through that list. You can check it out yourself by downloading the mod, or... well, yeah. Okay, custom item chest. This has some unique stuff in it. Some of them are seriously overpowered, but some of them are actually pretty cool as well. On your target's death, you become invisible. On your target's death, you and a close allies will be healed. On the target's death, your weapon will give off a fiery explosion. I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna try them all out. This is also an interesting assassin's wrist weapon. Sorry, actually let's continue. I'll show that in a bit. Let's keep moving. Dragon effects. Like I said, I haven't tried this all out and I'm not going to. You can check them out by yourself because I don't want to make this video too long. It already is too long. God mode on rings. Fire katana, extreme fire damage every time weapon is triggered in inventory, its energy is released. Some of the weapons are just basically have the same effect, but they're in a different skin, basically. Fushboda. We can only imagine what that does. Fallen assassins will protect the wearer. Interesting. But well, let's check out these wrists before I end this. Apparel, it should be... Wait, is it on the top? Yes. Assassin's wrist weapons. And now it adds 2 new destruction spells for me. If my memory serves, this might give you some audio bug for your game, but that doesn't happen always. Pretty cool stuff, I can say. Shooting darts from your wrist with these cloths. Yes, this is the one I meant. It keeps actually playing the sound. It's not working correctly, but the other one is. Alright. So, that's all the 4 mods. I mean, actually, 6 mods I wanted to show you. That sound, though, keeps playing, so it will annoy me for the rest of the video. But... oh my god, I can't stand this. Alright, I have to reload a save so I gotta rid of that annoying sound which the Assassin's Wristblade leaves. But that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, if you saw some cool mods in it which you also might like, leave this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more Skyrim stuff. And until then, I bid you all farewell and I thank you for watching and bye bye.